Jameria Hall was born on September 11 in 1992 in Baltimore, Maryland, where she grew up. She graduated high school in 2010 at 17 years old. Hall went to Baltimore Community College. Hall worked as a financial literacy advisor from home. She dated Davin Thomas for several years. The couple had 2 children, 8-year-old Davin Thomas Jr., and 6-year-old Danara Thomas. The relationship between Hall and Thomas did not last, and the two parted ways. Hall later petitioned the court for custody, and was awarded full custody when Thomas did not show to the court date. Hall lived with her children in apartment number 1 at 531 Coventry Road in Baltimore, Maryland. Prior to moving into her own apartment, Hall lived with her parents. In 2018, Hall was given a 1-year sentence for first-degree arson, and for endangering the lives of her children. She was charged with disabling her parents' smoke alarm, then placing some family photos in a frying pan, turning all the knobs on the gas stove to on, and then lit them on fire. Her children were inside with her at the time. After setting the fire, she left the apartment with her children, and took them to a local hospital where police arrested her. Inside her parents' home, she built a makeshift shrine of other family photos on a sofa. She pled guilty to first-degree arson and received a 5-year sentence, with all but 1 year suspended. At her plea hearing, she told the judge that she was a psychiatric patient for anxiety and depression, and was currently on medication for those disorders. Her children stayed with the paternal grandfather, Theodore Thomas, while she was in prison. After her 1-year prison sentence and release, Hall seemed to be doing well. She was working from home selling credit repair assistance, and selling other products. However, her Facebook posts reveal that she still fought with depression. One Facebook post read, "In the beginning of the 2020 pandemic I found myself going back into depression," she wrote. "I was not able to work because my family needed me at home. Every month I had supervised probation office visits. I suffer from myofascial pain syndrome. And PTSD always taps me on the shoulder and triggers my anxiety." On August 24 in 2021 at around 4:20 p.m. a 911 call came in from a maintenance worker at an apartment complex. His manager had requested he check on reports of a foul odor coming from apartment number 1. When he went inside, he found a small child in the bathtub face up, and another child in a sleeping bag face down, both apparently deceased. He left the apartment and immediately called 911. Medics arrived at the scene first. Medics did not perform CPR due to the children already in the state of decomposition. Both children were pronounced dead by EMS at 14:25 p.m. prior to officers arriving. When officers arrived at the location, they noticed the little girl in the bathtub face up, with an apparent clothing object wrapped around her neck. When the forensic examiner turned the child in the sleeping bag over, it was discovered that a large knife was protruding out of the right side of his chest, and a plastic trash bag was wrapped around his face and head. Both children were taken to the office of Chief Medical Examiner, where a post-mortem examination was conducted. Further investigation revealed that the 2 children were Davin and Danara Thomas. Investigators also discovered their mother was missing from the residence. Investigators noted that there was no forced entry into the residence. Hall was last seen with her 2 children on August 19, outside her apartment. On the same night, neighbors told investigators they heard one of the children screaming, "Mommy, no." On August 23, it was revealed that Hall spoke with her mother Jennifer Jordan by cell phone. She told her mother she was in the hospital, and that the children were with their father. Police made contact with the children's father, Devin Thomas, who advised he had not seen his children in some time, and he did not know Hall's location. He did say that he noticed her walking on North Avenue and Bloomingdale's Road on the day before, and that she was screaming and talking to herself. He thought she may be under the influence. On August 25 at around 7:30 p.m. authorities were able to track down Hall in an Uber vehicle. She was taken into custody. She was transported to the homicide section to be interviewed by detectives. Hall waived her Miranda rights, and gave a full confession, where she went into great detail how she murdered both of her young children. She was taken to the Central Booking Intake Facility and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. "This is an unfathomable gut-wrenching tragedy," Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott said at a news conference Wednesday. Davin and Danara should be starting school, like the rest of the kids in the city. "The tragic deaths of these 2 beautiful young people will be carefully and very thoroughly reviewed," Scott told reporters. "We have to, and we will close any gap that enables tragedies like this to occur." Hall's public defender, Deborah Levi, told the judge that Hall is unable to assist in her own defense due to psychiatric issues. Judge Jack Lesser ordered a psychiatric evaluation at a correctional facility. On September 3 in 2021, Baltimore District Court Judge Jack Lesser found her legally incompetent to stand trial. He stated she is incapable of understanding the severity of the proceedings against her, and cannot assist in her own defense. Hall's case has been put on an inactive docket until she's competent to stand trial, if ever. Usually defendants found incompetent are committed to a secure health and mental facility for treatment, until they understand the nature of their court proceedings, and can then assist in their defense. Brian Thomas, an attorney unrelated to the case, said that typically they will never be able to stand trial because most defendants ruled incompetent never become competent. He said that the court must dismiss the charges against defendants charged with a felony or crime after 5 years. If they are not found competent within that 5 years, the charges are dismissed. Offenses other than felonies must be dismissed after 3 years. If Hall is later found to be competent to stand trial within the time frame, her attorneys could possibly seek to file a plea of not criminally responsible, meaning she was not capable of understanding the criminality of her conduct at the time she committed the crimes, and that she's incapable of understanding or conforming her behavior to the confines of the law. Such pleas are very rare. Fewer than 3% of criminal defendants that plead not criminally responsible are actually granted. Defendants who are actually found not criminally responsible will be committed to a Department of Health and Mental Facility until they are no longer a danger to themselves or others. Adam Rosenberg, Vice President of Violence Intervention and Prevention at LifeBridge Health Center for Hope, said we need to be ready to report abuse, and get people help when they are on the verge. He said, "I think many people failed these children." He went on to say it's easy to point the finger at one department of government, but it's the community in general. He said, "The latest police report are indicating that the children were heard screaming 'Mommy, no.' And did anybody call 911? Did anybody go over to that house and knock on the door and say, 'Hey, can I help you? Is something going wrong here?' There are children who are at risk, and that we are not seeing something and saying something, we're saying things after the fact but not during, and we need to put ourselves out there a little bit. People are afraid of conflict, afraid of what's going to happen if I knock on that door, but the converse is there could be a child that ends up dead if they don't get involved," said Rosenberg. He continued saying that we cannot rely on social media to give us any idea of how things really are. He said we need to build human interactions with people and children. Theodore Thomas, the paternal grandfather of Davin and Danara, blames Child Protective Services for their deaths. Thomas said he and his wife cared for the children when Hall went to prison. He said, "They gave my grandchildren back to their mother after she lit the house on fire with them inside," he said. Why would they do that? Jameria Hall is currently at a state mental facility where she will remain until she is deemed fit to stand trial. Davin and Danara's funeral arrangements were never made public. If you know a child needs help, call the Child Help National Abuse Hotline. Counselors are available to talk through child abuse situations, and assist with questions and additional support. They can help find the resources you may need. If you think a child is in immediate danger, do not walk away, call 911 immediately. Your action could save an innocent child's life. Remember, your voice can make a difference. Do not see something and do nothing. Gavin and Danara Thomas were failed in many ways. When their mother was arrested the first time, she should have been given a full psychiatric evaluation. Her actions were not that of a sane person. These two beautiful children were failed again, when neighbors clearly heard one of the children say "Mommy no" and ignored it. This neighbor admitted the child was screaming and sounded in distress. How can you ignore a child's cries for help like that? We as a community need to be hyper-aware and do all we can to be proactive. If this neighbor would have called the police right away and went straight and knocked on that door, it could have snapped her out of the state of mind she was in. Even if the worst had already happened and she killed one of the children, it could have saved the other. There's never a reason to ignore someone's cries for help, especially when it comes to innocent children. May both children rest in peace. That concludes this episode of Filicide. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can become a patron or join the channel's membership. One of the perks is getting your name in the credits at the end of every video made on this channel, as well as getting to see many of the videos before anyone else. However, we never want anyone to feel they have to do anything. You are greatly appreciated just for watching. You can simply watch the ads when they do come up, it helps. You are greatly appreciated simply for watching.
Want to help support the channel you love, and get something in return? Simply purchase some Elizabeth's Chronicles merch. We have coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, cozy blankets, beach towels, phone covers and more. Use the coupon code EC10OFF4U and get 10% off your order. The link to order is in the description area below this video. Thanks for helping Elizabeth's Chronicles continue to make the videos you love.